We are owned by America. This is the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Oh, we get super left behind in so many ways, and it's mysterious to us sometimes.
The COVID fatigue is real. It's all over the world, so everybody fighting their own battle. We're going to do what we have to do to survive, you know?
The U.S. Virgin Islands. It's paradise to visitors, but to some who live there, it feels like a forgotten place. Located in the Atlantic Ocean, about 40 miles east of Puerto Rico, the territory includes the main islands of St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas, and many other surrounding minor islands. The islands have been hit hard recently, first hurricanes, then coronavirus, leaving the tourism economy fighting to recover. The next 30 minutes will be a journey to the U.S. Virgin Islands, a look at what makes them unique in their struggle, how the people stay positive, and what they need to thrive once again. This is paradise, where we go not to escape life, but for life not to escape us. Heaven. The U.S. Virgin Islands, a way to leave the country without leaving it.
Everybody love Frenchtown. Frenchtown is the Irish town in Charlotte Amalie town. When you come to Frenchtown, you meet the brown, the black, everybody does Irish in a Frenchtown. Check it. Hey, look at PP go, man. She's having a great time today. Getting all on a good spread. Fresh from the ocean. Look at PP. Right, PP? PP. Yeah, that's PP.
It's the Caribbean, and like its many neighboring islands, this is a blend of cultures from all over the world.
We have Spanish,
Haitian,
we have Haitians,
Dominican,
we have
white, black,
anything you can name
everything.
it, we have everything. You name it, you can find it down here.
What's more American than that? On America's own corner of paradise, I noticed it's full of history, but also problems. Purchased from the Danish in 1917, the U.S. improved the islands tremendously, and by the 70s, the economy was booming with tourism. The 90s brought new hotels and restaurants, increasing populations and jobs, but it isn't always paradise here. The long-time and only oil refinery, which would generate $60 million a year, closed in 2012 due to Clean Air Act violations. In 2017, the U.S. Virgin Islands, along with Puerto Rico, were hit with a multi-billion-dollar debt crisis. In the same year, 2 Category 5 hurricanes, Maria and Irma, decimated them. For the past 3 years, the islands have been working towards recovery. Add on the pandemic of 2020, and you have to wonder, what are they doing to adapt and survive? While the U.S. Virgin Islands can be called a state of mind, it cannot be called a state. The territory is often forgotten.
I mean, 30% of our population lives below the poverty line. Our tax base, our income tax base, is very skewed. About 89 people pay about maybe 50-60% of our taxes here.
But do not pity these people. That's not the island way.
They refer to me as Coconut Man, all natural.
Also, do not let their carefree, laid-back island charm fool you. From spending time with them, eating their food.
I think this is ill-advised to do during the middle of an interview, doing
We'll see.
untested hot sauce.
Well, you said you visited many different islands. Now you get to taste of the Virgin Islands and see if you can hang with the spiciness.
Learning about their culture. We are the very definition of self-made, we'll do it ourselves, American. All aspects of life here, health, the economy, tourism, the very life force of this place, have all felt the crushing weight of the pandemic.
After we got the hurricane, we had a lot of America, people from different islands come to give us assistance. But now with the COVID, now it's all over the world, so everybody fighting their own battle. We gotta do what we have to do to survive,
So what keeps them going? What's the secret? Outsiders might say it is what it is. They have to keep going. But the islanders will all tell you the same thing. Resilience. Coming up, the coronavirus pandemic is a different fight for islanders. How the steps they take to protect the people living there directly conflict with the tourism economy. Warmer weather. Great for your health, right? If you come to the U.S. Virgin Islands, they'll sell you on elixirs for vigor and longevity. And no, I'm not talking about rum punch.
We have a punch that we make from the jelly, which is the inside of the coconut. And it is very good. It's very nourishing.
This one, the best thing for Corona right now. It's a local, like a little nuts. I'm 79 years old.
She is. I know.
Wait, you're 79, you've been eating that every day?
Mm-hmm. Eggplant, dashil, ginger, pumpkin.
Their latest health battle, just like the rest of the world, the coronavirus, which is a much different fight in the islands.
So I told my father, go pick him up from the airport. So my father was like, pick him up? Where he come from? I like, Daddy, he just come from thing. You have to pick him up. No, sir, I ain't picking him up. You want me catch corona? Trust me, even if your friends go away, you don't want, you don't even want them around.
We don't
because
have access to, great healthcare like the States, right? So, and then we're a small island, hospitals overwhelmed.
In the U.S. Virgin Islands, there are only 3 hospitals, one on each island, altogether serving a population of 107,000. You can imagine how overwhelmed they could be in a pandemic, and especially Juan Lewis Hospital in St. Croix, which is still recovering from 2017 hurricane damage. That's where I went to speak with the Commissioner of Health, Justa Encarnacion.
Well, pre-COVID, sometimes you actually have to speak not just pre-COVID, but you have to speak pre-Maria and Irma, which is the 2 Category 5 hurricanes that occurred in 2017. So this is actually the 3rd year. So pre-COVID means that we were already struggling. The impact wasn't just the infrastructure. The impact was also on the people, because once the hurricanes passed, it was emotionally and psychologically devastating as well. Individuals who did not come from the Virgin Islands, who do not live here, but were here for work, decided to not stay here.
This is the damage still here at the hospital in St. Croix. The 3rd floor where the ICU was hasn't been usable for 3 years. The COVID unit was moved to the 2nd floor, and between June and mid-July, cases spiked. Due to limited resources and smaller facilities, the islands had to make a tough decision.
Our governor that we have right now is also a critical thinker, And one of the things that we decided to do, we would actually be closing our reservations to all our hotels. Once we did that, then of course they had no place to stay.
Right.
So the number of travel reduced dramatically. We didn't close the airport because we do not have the federal authority to do that, but we reduced our numbers.
Do you guys feel like you guys are forgotten in the health field with the country?
I still think we have pretty strong advocates from the congressional level. I can't say that we get everything that we ask for, because we don't. We have to fight, and I think that I go back to being resilient, but also being determined. But the expectation is that we knew that we would not get as much help as we would want to get, and it was not because they didn't want to give it, but really and truly they couldn't give it.
Today, the Virgin Islands has received more than $2.1 billion from FEMA to rebuild, including the damaged hospitals.
So this particular hospital is comprised of 6 buildings.
$68 million of it is being used to build a temporary hospital in St. Croix to house more patients away from all that hurricane damage during COVID. The island has gotten its COVID monitoring and protocols under control, demanding tourists have a negative test before they arrive, keeping the numbers low for hospitals and COVID patients, and of course, mask mandates.
We stay steadfast as to what needs to be done for the safety of the population, but there also has to be a balance.
In order to have a strong economy, they need to have their health.
Would you like a drink also?
And now the battle to bring their fiscal health back to life is a fight that's only just beginning. Coming up, the pandemic is draining the economy on the Virgin Islands, how the tourism industry is changing its focus to get guests to return. Every year, 2 million people from all over the world flock to the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Fun in the sun, beaches, rum, a lot of rum, as you can see.
Tourists work all year to spend a short time in paradise, blowing their hard-earned cash on drinks, food, hotels, and of course, tours. But life here has been hard. Real hard.
We are bad now because we lose our job here, we lose the store.
It's been a very challenging year for us, to say the least. Back in March, we had to close for 5 weeks.
I was definitely concerned that the Virgin Islands economy would take a big hit, that with all the job loss, that it would be hard to recover.
When it comes to this pandemic, like emotionally, financially, like it been real hard. Like right now, everybody's saying like,
we just started back working.
Yeah,
We've actually closed for takeout only, so we wasn't making as much money and stuff like that. So it really took a toll on us.
Our main income here is tourism, and we can afford tourism to drop down because if you notice, with that COVID now, you could see the impact it bringing, you know. There's not too many things going on. Cruise ship season, October, but now it's been months we haven't seen a cruise ship, you know, and then it really put a dent in the economy.
When the pandemic began, the islands, which need travel and tourism to survive, took a hit. No more cruise ships, no more tourists, no more business.
You have a dramatic reduction in the people coming in, and you know, you go into work and you go in and they're not things moving as they used to be. There's not as many people around. The streets are clear. You know, it's like a ghost town. It's kind of depressing in a sense, you know, because it's like you don't know the unknown, like how long are we going to be like this?
outside of tourism, you know, the restaurant industry has been probably one of the hardest hits as well globally.
Did a lot of small restaurants close during this pandemic?
We've been seeing some close, but we've seen most of them have been staying alive.
Without a doubt, the tourism industry here needs to change. And Joseph Bilschulte, the commissioner of the Department of Tourism, is working on that. Tourism, how big of a driving factor is it here? I mean, it seems like it's the #1 thing here in the Caribbean.
Yeah, for us in the U.S. Virgin Islands, tourism represents almost 60% of our GDP. So, and that's direct and indirect spend. You know, most of the businesses are dependent some way, somehow on tourism.
It's all connected.
All connected.
And now on top of the cruise ships, you know, pre-COVID, how much did the cruise ships add to tourism, and how much has that dropped since COVID?
We've lost probably now 7 months in upwards of $100 million in spend, you know, throughout. We've lost almost 300,000 passengers to date.
Wow.
Unfortunately, we don't believe that we're going to see any ships before January.
How do you see the island shifting to maybe offset any of that?
What we found in the COVID season, based on our surveys and our analytical data, is that people want to fly shorter routes, less connections, and would prefer to be as direct as they can be. So what we found is that if you can get a flight direct from any of the spots in the U.S. to the U.S. via direct, and we advertise in a particular area that has that, we do extremely well.
Take a look around. You can tell things are changing here. The docks that would have been filled with massive cruise ships now have a visible view of that beautiful horizon. Something the islanders hope outsiders will continue to spend their time, and of course money, to see. Coming up, politics and prosperity. The islanders hope for a successful future, and how statehood fits into their vision. Things in the Caribbean are just different.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
You walk down the street, everybody knows your name. Hi, Miss King, how are you? You know, you in the state, you walk, nobody knows you. So
here in the Virgin Islands, in spite of that there is crime, you are free here, just about. Some places, you have to be secured or whatever. You don't have to have like 6 locks. You don't go to nobody's house here and see 6 locks on their door.
It is the U.S. Virgin Islands, so that makes them still American, right?
Islander, but American.
We are under the American flag. We are Americans, without doubt.
I could leave here, go to the States for a period of time, and I can vote for the president if I choose to. But from here, I cannot do that.
If we had a time to, would I vote? Yeah.
Trust me, he into politics big time, so trust me.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, he into politics. Dale, you into politics.
Politics.
He into politics.
And I was 5 years old.
Every Caribbean island has a culture, a character that everybody needs to learn.
But there's a culture some here would say is forgotten by the States. Admired for when tourists are here.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Out of sight and out of mind once they're on their plane ride home.
More than likely I'll be sweating in this, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
And that's something Governor Albert Bryan Jr. is trying to fix, being left behind, the misconceptions of being a territory, and using this pandemic to expand their culture and island way of life.
Do you feel like you guys get left behind?
Oh, we get super left behind in so many ways, and it's mysterious to us sometimes, but the real reason is, I mean, when you look at Guam, Northern Marianas, us, we're probably like maybe 300,000 people, all of us together. but we're lumped with Puerto Rico, that's 3 million people. So when you talk about doing something for the territories, Puerto Rico is included. And doing something for 300,000 people is 10 times cheaper than doing it for 3 million people. And so a lot of times we get locked out of grants, we get locked out of funding, we don't get our fair share of Medicaid.
Here, the Medicaid dollars are capped. Also, territories do not automatically receive increased Medicaid funding when it's needed, like the hurricanes that hit them in 2017.
Would it be better if the Virgin Islands had full statehood, or if these territories got full statehood to have more of a voice in politics?
Absolutely not. I think that what we need is for Puerto Rico to get statehood. The thought of us going to full statehood, we could not carry the financial burden that would impose on us.
But you believe Puerto Rico could?
Yes, I do believe that Puerto Rico, if Puerto Rico becomes a state, then the islands would finally get the attention and the respect that they deserve.
In essence, the governor says, take out the 3 million population of Puerto Rico out of their territorial equation, then the other territories get a bigger slice of the budget pie.
And there's that contrast between paradise with tourism, but then there's stuff that you guys have to deal with poverty and hurricanes.
Thank God for all of the construction jobs and all of the jobs that we've created as a result of our recovery, which we hope is going to lead us out of this latest crisis with COVID. But most key to our success, I think, is going to be the education of our people and the ability to expand what we're doing economically online. Education is certainly the defining factor between the poverty line and the new middle class that we want to create in the Virgin Islands.
We know the island's good. We have a lot of people, pretty people, but right now we're feeling bad, man. That's just that.
Life here in what some will call paradise isn't perfect, but the people who make this place what it is are close to it. And while the Virgin Islands struggles to evolve through disasters, the culture will stay the same. Love, work together, and leave no one behind.
Live better and be more thoughtful and mindful of each other.
And maybe all of that is what truly makes this place paradise.